Welcome, creatures of all shapes and sizes, to Banged Up with Bruce Oldham, aka The Kid. This is an action sports podcast, the likes of which the world may never have seen before and may never see again. I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, 3, 2, 1, and we are live. Cheers, Pat. Good to see you. Podcast Pat has now entered the podcast studio for real. Today's podcast, I personally, it's on me. I have a bunch of sick guests lined up, and I wasn't able to schedule them with my work and their work in time for this week's podcast. So this week's podcast is Podcast Pat and myself answering your questions that I asked for on Instagram and hanging out. Pat, would you like to say hey to the podcast? Because this is the first time in studio you've been here, and you're drinking a Red Bull. Excellent. Late night Red Bull for the kids.
How's it going?
Clear your throat. Let them know. Show them the ASMR on the new mic. Some people aren't used to the new mic yet.
It's too far away still.
Hello. Welcome to Banged Up with Bruce Oldham. They like that.
I don't know about that.
They'll like that.
Sure.
We got to figure out how to sit comfortably with two people on the podcast.
That's why I
Do you
built
think
up my little cushions so I can extend my broken knees out.
But eventually I want to have guests sitting in person with me. So do you think this is gonna work? Or
You're gonna need a new setup.
We're gonna need
do
chairs.
what Joe Rogan does, and you're gonna need use that table or a table like that and go opposite to each other.
Opposite to each other.
So you look at each other when you're talking about stuff because that's polite.
But we can look like this, but then we're not looking at.
But I could do this.
Yeah, but then you're kind of out of the shot.
Plus this weird section of nothing.
Yeah, I don't like that. Come back here. We've had a meltdown of the camera, so now we are filming the vlogs and the podcast on the iPhone. Although the audio for everything that I record audio on is now done on the mic, so it sounds good. But let's get into some questions, Pat, and then we'll talk about some of the other stuff we got going on later, I guess, because the two of us are here, so we might as well talk about the ASC. What does that stand for, Pat? What is Pat's come up with a very creative alternative for our action sports community that we've created, but we will not mention that backup name on the podcast because we will definitely get banned. Anyways, first question comes from Bart. Oh, Bart sent in 3 questions.
Oh,
so,
Bart.
can you pronounce his name?
BK. We're gonna call him BK.
Big BK. Big BK. This is a question for Pat right off the bat. Dealing with injuries and getting back into skiing after an injury. You should be an expert in this. So what do you got to tell Big BK?
Well, it's a big mental game for sure with that one. It depends how serious the injury is and how uninvolved you end up having to get. Also depends on what level of skiing you're at as well and what your future goals are. No matter which way that or which one of those categories you fall into, it's a huge mental game. You gotta start the rehab early. You gotta get the problem fixed. So whether it's a broken wrist you're wearing a cast, or your surgery on your knee or your thumb or your shoulder, after that just remember why you're rehabbing. Sometimes you need a break though. When I first did my knees and had to have the surgery, I didn't go on social media. I just stopped talking to people for a while, which kind of sucked, but definitely helped me kind of in the long run, because it really reminded me why missing it so much was definitely a huge factor in keeping me going, if you know what I mean. That would be my 2 cents on the issue.
I think you're probably onto something. I like having hosts, and I can just dip and do my own things during a podcast. It's kind of nice. And I got somebody to chat to instead of chatting to myself or online. Cheers. Yeah, so dealing with injuries, getting back to skiing, as Pat said, Pat's pretty much an expert on this stuff because, 3 knees, 2 heels, a couple other things.
2 thumbs, 2 shoulders.
Yeah,
concussions.
but thumbs are disposable anyways.
Shoulders my shoulder one sucked because I tore my super.
Those don't heal back well.
No, and I was in New Zealand and I had to miss. It's hard when you're on a trip with people.
COVID-friendly podcast.
It's hard when you're on a trip with everybody and you don't want to miss.
Yeah.
Miss it, yeah. Okay.
We're flavor testing the Red Bulls here. Yeah, for sure. Definitely a good one. I would say the biggest thing is just rehab and stay consistent.
Remember why you're doing this. If you get hurt, substantially enough where you can't ski and you're not sure that it's worth it, you got to be sure it's worth it because you're going back to potentially do the same thing.
Yeah, you could potentially hurt yourself again, so you got to make sure you have the motivation and the drive to make sure you recover properly. All right, Big BK, we're going to bang out your other two questions quickly and move on to the rest. What do you do if you're stuck in a new axis and you cannot get it right? Back to tramp, question mark? This is a good question, actually. If you're stuck in a new axis and you can't get it right, especially on snow, I would say back to tramp is probably the best step you can make. But you also need to take a break from that if you are stuck. Like, if it's midwinter and you don't have access to a tramp and you're stuck in the axis, I would say do some video review, talk to some people, maybe ask, if you're not getting coached, maybe ask somebody who knows what they're doing, if they can help fix your set or what you're trying to do. Try to do it that way. If it's winter, then you can go to your local gymnastics place, get some advice from some people, ask, like, either me or Podcast Pat will help you out. But if you send us a video, yeah, like, just we'll give you some tips on, like, the proper set and just really focus on, like, visualizing it and practicing it that way, I think.
Visualizing it in your head for sure is huge, but
Yeah.
if you do have the chance to get on a tramp, progression's 100%. And even if you're not doing, even if you're learning a new trick and you haven't got stuck, put the hours in on the progressions. It'll be more than worth it in the long run.
Yeah, the progressions are huge, especially on tramp. All right, Big BK with the next question. Thoughts on indoor skiing, future of skiing, global warming, and dome skiing?
I've never really been attracted to it. It looks like the worst of the East Coast snow conditions in one spot.
But it looks fun. It looks like you get really good at rails, and if you could get a big enough dome,
there is some
where
of
you
them
could
have jumps. Some of them do.
like
I mean,
decent jumps, then you could.
You are skiing, so
fun.
it could be worse. But
Well, it's better than not skiing.
that's
in
what
the
I
winter.
mean. You're
In
skiing,
the
so
summer.
it could always be worse because you could not be skiing. But if I could be skiing outside, I'd be skiing outside.
I think indoor skiing is cool. I think it's cool because the temperatures are nice. They're to what it is. It's not brutal. You don't have to worry about weather conditions. If it's a good day or a bad day, it's always the same kind of day. Although I think it does take away a little bit of the element of skiing and what it is. And obviously you can't build as big of features.
Yeah.
Global warming, I think our ski hills are going to be safe for a while. Probably our generation.
snowmaking is coming a long way to kind of help with
Yeah.
that. But yeah, we do got to be aware of that and do what we can to keep things going so that we can all enjoy our winters.
We are environmentally friendly here at ASC and Banged Up with Bruce Oldham. All right, next. On to the next question from FlowGod30. How do you prepare for the season? Any routines? Keep the knees and legs tight. Pat's got a lot of tight things on his body, so he'll tell you this one.
What? Well.
How do you prepare for the
we don't
for the
really have
season?
it. We don't. You don't. I don't really do it anymore.
I have a routine.
But yeah, but what I was gonna say was, you don't really have an off season, so to speak. You're not out of the sport. You're always mentally still doing it.
You're trampolining, you're slacklining, you're hitting the backyard rail, you're into Maximize, you're going to Whistler or Saas-Fee or wherever for an off season. Then you're starting early season in the Yukon. So there is an off season, I suppose, obviously, with,
It
the
depends
summer
on what level
being.
you're
But
at.
yeah, it depends what level you're at. Because, I mean, you could hit a level where you ski right up till April.
Yeah.
You ramp May and beginning of June, end of June, you're in West through the end of July, and then August and September, and a bit of not even a bit of October. August, September, you're in Southern Hemisphere, New Zealand, Australia. Then you're in Saas-Fee.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
season starts again.
Megan, for instance, like, if it wasn't COVID this year, she would have been skiing, like, almost all year round. She might have had, like, 2 weeks, 3 weeks off max the entire year. And that's about it. But if you're not in the situation where you're doing that and you're not at that level yet, then, which I don't know, I don't think you are, I would say to prepare for the season is trampolining and
Slacklining, backyard
slacklining.
rail, whatever you can do.
backyard rail, going to work out,
Goal setting.
stretching, you said, for knees and legs tight. I don't know about keeping your muscles tight. I think you want to stretch as much as possible.
Keep it loose.
But you definitely want to build up the stability and stuff. There's a lot of good exercises online for knee stability and stuff like that. That's definitely important. I would look into that.
Keep your head in the game. Set your goals. Know what you're working for.
Yeah, just remind yourself why you're doing it.
Follow your progress. So if you want to be doing, if you want to do cork sevens this year on snow, work backwards. So you gotta have them on trampoline, which means you gotta do your progressions right. Learn how the hips up work, how your spots work, everything like that. Get the consistency up on the trampoline, and to get there, you gotta be at the gym. You gotta be working out. You gotta have a strong core, back, legs, everything. So neck in particular as well. So,
Podcast Pat's suggestion: stay
There you go.
strong. Stay strong.
if you're strong, you're less prone to injuries.
All right.
Obviously, there's exceptions, but
Luca Zach 14 Zach. when did you do your first double and which was it? Okay, so I was a little late bloomer on the skis. My first double was technically a dub back, which is, I mean, pretty classic one. But right after dub, did I do dub back first? Yeah, I did dub back first. Right after dub back, I did switch dub. That was my first like actual off-axis dub. I didn't start park skiing until I was like 16. When I was 16, I could do like a 360 on the small jump, and then really got into it seriously from then on. And I think I did it 2 years. I think I did my first double 2 years after I started park skiing. But I have been skiing like most of my life. Yeah, I would say it's a switch dub, and it was, other than the dub back. The dub back was sketchy. I've done one on snow in my life, and that was the only one I've done. And then switch dub I did after that on a really small jump, and then moved on from that. Next question from the same guy, Luca. How did you get a sponsor? Did they contact you, or did you contact them? Pat, how do you get a sponsor?
I think we did these questions wrong.
Well, I'm going through like top to bottom here.
Yeah, I should have answered the double one. You should answer this one.
Oh, yes. What was your first double? Tell them about your first double.
You can see it on Instagram if you want to. It is on my
If you guys are watching the video version, we'll post a picture of Pat's first double.
Peppermint Patty is how we
Peppermint Patty. Peppermint Patty's first double.
I built a jump on the side of a road and did a double backflip. This is 2013, so it's 7 years ago. It's a long time ago. But I didn't put skis on until I was in grade 9. And then I skied at Calabogie. I'll fade this into the sponsorship one. I skied at Calabogie in grade 10. And then, I got on the NCR, then OPP, OPPA, whatever the lineup was. But my old coach was a rep for Armada skis, which kind of helped me with that because they cover a lot. Like, you can get all your outerwear skis. I think they're even doing bindings now, poles. In terms of other than that, I had Spy Optics, so I contacted them. Swanee Gloves was a sponsorship we got through the team.
Yeah, you're like.
I'm trying to remember. It's been so long since I've been doing this heavily, so I'm trying to think back. But Bruce would be more relevant for this one. Yeah.
I had like 2 or 3 of the people I've had on the podcast already did their first doubles when they were like 11 or 12.
Yeah, no, we were way late.
Like, I didn't even know what skiing was until then. But
sports when we were that age though, the sport was not really on the map. Like we've kind of been right at
in a different area, in
a different era. Like but like it wasn't common knowledge. Like now, if you say freestyle skiing, everyone will know what you're talking about. In 2012 and 2010, not really everybody would know that freestyle skiing.
But if you talked about freestyle skiing like in that way, and you looked at all the people that were freestyle skiing back when we started, no one was freestyle skiing at a really young age. It was all older like high school kids and stuff like that. And as for sponsorships, my sponsorships, I've had no sponsors come to me ever except for K2 Skis. They came to me last year. Everything else, I've written up sponsorship resumes. I've contacted people. It takes a lot of connections, a lot of reaching out to people. You have to be able to provide something for the company. Don't just be like, hey, I want something.
You're marketing yourself. You have to prove that you are worth their sacrifice. And for you to get to a point where they're reaching out to you, that's a long part down the road.
Yeah, and for sponsors, especially nowadays, competition results don't really matter to them. If you have a contest result and you are first place at a Canadian Open Tour, for instance, or a local rail jam, nobody cares. Unfortunately,
it's hard to say, but yeah, you've got to have the social media, you've got to have the reputation or the connections to everything. It has to be worth their time.
So for me, what I did this year is I went really out of my way. I spent probably a week making this really nice PDF in Photoshop and on Canva, which is like an app or whatever. And I put all my analytics for everything I'm doing, all my comp results, all my videos, everything like that. And I've been sending that out to sponsors this year, and I've had really good feedback. I think every sponsor I've sent it to, I've picked up this year. So that's something that I think I'll probably give access to you guys maybe next year. I'll make it something that you guys can like
Patreon.
Yeah, maybe for Patreon members, or maybe something you guys can get for like $10 or something. You can just get for $10 as a template, and you guys can throw all your own information in there.
You gotta
but you have to make it professional, and you have to
show that you put the work in.
Well, you also have to like ask the question, what do you bring to their company? Because they're not in the most of these businesses aren't in the market of giving away free stuff. They need to have a return on their investment.
Yeah, and
at least down the line, if you can like show them even where you're projecting to go, or if you have social media stuff that you're projecting or projects you're doing, all that stuff's important.
You got to stand out. You got to put the work in and make it pop. If you're just sending a couple pictures, contest links, a video, and an email,
and
you might stand out, but you got to really be special in that sense.
And I was totally the kid that when I was young, I was sending pictures of or videos of me doing 360s, asking to get sponsored.
You did it too, and I mean you can't take it personally. I mean,
no, they're not going to sponsor you, but you might get a pro deal if you do some decent little stuff. But yeah, I would say just really make sure you make a professional impression. What is your main goal in your skiing career? I'll let Pat answer this first. By Dylan Paradu.
Mine's changed a lot. I've shifted gears heavily. When I was competing, it was just to be the best.
I had other specific goals, like tricks I wanted to do before anybody else or whatever. But after getting hurt, it really changes your perspective. I was super competitive and was there to win. After having the injuries and the rehab, now I just want to have fun. I just want to be outside. I don't ski as much park. I do more just normal skiing or backcountry. I'll go to the park. I don't hit rails. I'll do a couple jumps or whatever, back four. But yeah, it's just to be out there, watch everybody enjoying themselves, happy to be just still a part of the community and seeing everybody get stoked.
My main goal for skiing is I'm going to take over the world, whether it's skiing, featherweight champ, a little ASC action. But no, in all seriousness, though, I do want to compete at the highest possible level.
If that's not your goal, then you shouldn't be spending the money, time, and effort to do it.
To be on the competition circuit. If you're not going to take it seriously, it's at the point where if you're not putting everything into it or almost everything into it, you're not going to make it.
No, it's got to be everything. There's no almost everything. If you want to do good, you gotta be 100% committed.
But if you want to just have fun and ski at home and have fun and hang out with friends and make videos, that's totally fine too.
Set your own personal goals. If you just want to do certain tricks, you want to make an edit that's done, then that's a little different. But yeah, I mean, then just get on the trampoline, get a little shape so you don't get hurt easily, and good to go.
But for me, no, I definitely want to come over, take some dubs, compete at the highest level, and then bounce and go kick some ass in MMA after that. Once I'm done with that, what's your mentality like in grade 12 about your future? What your future holds with skiing? All right, so this question is from Anna Belliot. Looks kind of cute. Don't go tell Katrina, but anyways, Anna Belliot, your question is, what was your mentality in grade 12 like about your future goals for you with skiing?
Grade 12 was a great year, big year for me because that was my first year on the provincial team.
Yeah. Grade 12 for me, I wasn't on the provincial team. Oh, no, I was. No, that was your first year on the provincial team? So, no, I wasn't.
It kind of started. It was the
No, it wasn't.
It was end of grade 11, beginning of grade 12, because season starts in May when you. So,
it was a big year because it was the first big step. When you're on the provincial team, you've got a whole plan. You're sitting down with the coach. You got your own trainer. You're starting to kind of get a glimpse of what the hard work is leading to. So it was definitely big goals, big aspirations. I was really getting focused, and I had to make a lot of sacrifices. Didn't do a lot of high school parties, missed a lot of school. Didn't have the biggest social life in the school circle, but outside of it in the sports and things, you get a whole new one. So it's definitely worth that sacrifice, in my opinion. You get to meet people who are more like you.
My grade 12 was a shit show. Well, my mentality in grade 12 going... So I didn't get onto a provincial team, like the same team as Pat, until I was done grade 12.
1 year after.
1 year after. Done grade 12, going into university, and I had no clue what I wanted to do with my life. And I mean, I got my shit together now, but back then I was definitely like most kids. I wanted to have a lot of fun, so I was definitely partying way, way too much. I went and lived in a house with 6 other people in Guelph, did online school at the University of
Guelph.
University of Guelph.
Look at that
and I tried to ski in the provincial team, and honestly, I just partied too much and didn't train enough and didn't do enough school, and it was a shit show. And there was probably 2 years of that before I decided I was like, it's either going to be me going to school and doing school full time and getting a desk job, which is not what I wanted to do at that point in time, or I'm diving head into skiing and actually taking my shit seriously and having to figure everything out. And I picked the second option, and it's been pretty hard since then.
It's not an easy road,
no,
but
it's not. But if you put the effort in, it's definitely doable and it's definitely worth it.
I'll say that I definitely made the sacrifices with not doing the whole partying thing, which it kind of sucked, but at the same time, I could kind of see how much it paid off. Like my first year on the Prince team was very good. Like I did very well, in my opinion anyway. I learned a lot.
You killed it.
So that was like in my mind it was making sense why I was doing it. So it was a lot easier to make that sort of sacrifice.
For me, in grade 12, or going into grade 12 that year, after grade 12, my first year in university, I was putting my head through TVs, drinking 2-6s.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that.
Passing out in the lawn. It was not good. There was a lot of interesting things going on at that point in time in my life. Next question goes from Dub Knows. How does someone
Dudeski.
Pat's gonna give you the answer.
Dudeski.
How does someone find such a good headband as yours? Dudeski. So
Would you like to see this?
Yeah, for all those people watching, we have probably the most badass headbands you'll ever see. Pat's gonna do
inside, adjustable back.
Pat's doing a little product placement for you right now, but they're like.
I'm probably not in frame, but you know.
No, you're in frame, but the mic's facing forward, so it's only recording everything forward, not the stuff behind it, because we switched it that way. Anyways, tell them what the Dudeski is.
I don't really know. I know this bandana showed up in my hands yesterday, and it's been the best thing since sliced bread. I need a haircut, and it's keeping things organized at the time being.
So our friend Wizard Orange, Rylan Evans' dad, he randomly messaged me on Facebook and goes, "Do you want a Dudeski?" And I'm like, I have no clue what a Dudeski is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. If you send it to my address, I will take a Dudeski. So a package showed up the other day with their ski addiction skis. And it was from Kona Ice and Andrew Evans. And Andrew Evans sent us probably the world's coolest headbands called Dudeski.
I love it.
This hat's actually a Dudeski hat. And stickers and some badass patches. So I think we're going to do a collab with the ASC, the Action Sports Community, and the Dudeski headbands, so you guys can get your hands on these.
They're well worth it.
Dude, they're so sick. I honestly got mine we got 3 of them, and I haven't taken one off yet, other than to put this hat on. Angus Crossan. All right. Big Angie. All right, Bruce, in the likely scenario of no comps this winter, what are your plans? Let's link for Urban. All right, so, Pat, you look like you wanted to answer that question.
No, I was just going to say yes, but I'm not.
Yes. No, you can say yes.
I'll come film, Angus.
I would
like to see the creativity spew from the boys.
I would love to do some Urban. I'm really hoping there are comps this winter because that would throw my winter for a loop. If there are no comps, I'll be here in the podcast studio recording for you guys, filming a bunch of edits.
You'll be in BC backcountry skiing
doing
with
a
me.
lot of Patreon stuff, doing a lot of fighting, and yes, skiing with Pat backcountry maybe. And That's my
plan. That's my plan 100% because, I mean, unfortunately, it's a reality that you kind of got to think about even going further than just comps being canceled is if ski hills are limited to the amount of capacity.
They are going to be.
Well, they are. We already know that. But how difficult it will actually be to get on the hill.
It might be hard.
I'm hoping to be in BC and just, start to transition to not being on resort as much.
But yes, I will do Urban. Next question is from Holden Baldaz Skiing. If you could do a full season at a resort in another country, discluding America, where are you going? Pat's so eager to answer this question, so light it up.
Cadrona. Let's go. Lake Wanaka, New Zealand. Hands down, no questions asked, in my opinion.
Pat's a big Cadrona whore. I would love to go to the Swiss Alps or Europe or something like that.
Oh,
I've always wanted to go somewhere like that.
You've never been to...
I've never been to Cadrona, and I've never been to Europe.
Let me pitch the Cadrona. Cadrona's got the biggest jump I've ever hit. They've got super pipe and a mini pipe linked up. They've got a mini park, and then their park lines up with their big main park at the top, transitions down into like a medium line, and then it trails out into a rail line, and then you get to go all the way down. So you get this unique dynamic of getting to ride like a Louis Outback and then into a junkyard, and then you're at the bottom of the hill. And then if you don't feel like riding park, you just go to another lift, and it's a full backcountry zone.
Is the mountain nice?
Oh, it's insane. Like, and the snow is good. You get there in the winter, like, it was... I'm not sure it was just a good winter we were there, but they had good snow coverage, and it was just a great time all around. Wanaka's an absolutely amazing place to be in.
All right, Pat has convinced me. Next question comes from Nathan Benson. Nathan Benson 12. Shout out to you, big guy, because you edited the last episode of the vlog. So, thanks, big guy, and hopefully more to come. Your question. Pat, read his question for us.
What is a quick and easy workout for mornings before work or school to keep yourself in top condition?
You got an answer for this? That was a nice radio voice, actually.
Thank you. Should I start doing that?
Yeah, you should.
Well, that depends how much time you got. I mean, Bruce's mom runs a 10K every couple days.
Oh, my God. It's absolutely insane.
Which is mind-blowing for me.
3 days a week. My mom, how old is Bonnie now?
I don't know.
52 or something. I don't know. Anyways.
Better not be insulting.
Her and 3 other moms wake up at 5 in the morning, It's like they're waking up at 5 now.
Yeah.
And they're running 5:30 in the morning.
The kids are in school. They can't sleep in anymore.
Big Dukes is coming into the podcast.
This is a very
come on, Big Duke.
professional
Come on,
podcast.
Come on.
We just vacuumed the can.
Hey, big guy.
You know how loud that is on the mic every time we touch this? Your feet too in the can.
Okay. Anyways, no, she wakes up at 5:30 in the morning. They go run a 10K no matter the weather. The only time they don't run the 10K is when it's above -20. So it's pretty criminal. You could do that if you wanted to. I personally don't work out in the morning just because I don't need to, because I work out at night and stuff. But I wake up in the morning. I do some yoga, do some breath work and stuff. That stuff's really good for the morning.
I think
I would do some mobility stuff.
It depends on your situation. Like if you've got 45 minutes, do a nice yoga breath routine. Keep it kind of warm. When I was in Ottawa, I was in a decent situation. Sometimes I could get to the gym after work, but what I tried to do is I had a gym membership. I'd go to the gym and do a full hour and a half workout before work. But I mean, I was just in a routine that allowed that to happen. Because I mean, I'm the type of person that wakes up, get it done with, and then we'll be good to go. But
if you have time to go to the gym in the morning, by all means, go to the gym.
You'll be a little sore, but you might have a better day. I find I was more mentally clear throughout the rest of the day.
Yeah,
but
that's why I do my cold showers in the morning and stuff. I feel like
if you can't do that though, just 100% yoga, breath work, get a run in if you got that time too.
Yeah, do some easy stuff like push-ups or jumping jacks, squats, all that stuff. It's chill. Last question comes from RP. We're really gonna leave the last question is this, okay? Pat's gonna have to come up with a bonus question for me.
When you coming to Michigan?
By RP Anderson.
Well, I've never been to Michigan. We could boat there. If we leave now, we could be there tomorrow.
Can we boat to Michigan in a day?
Ask some people if I could borrow some boat. Some boat, not a boat, just some boat. Some of the boat, we'll get there. We'll put an outboard on the canoe and we're there.
Dude, I have no clue when I'm coming to Michigan, but hopefully when we get over ASC stuff together, I get an idea of my season. I'm putting on a couple events at Mount St. Louis and a couple other places. Hopefully, yes, we'll see.
COVID allowance.
I would love to come to Michigan and do some events in Michigan too.
When the border opens, maybe we can come. But RP Anderson has got to give a good pitch on why we should come to Michigan.
Yes, you need to tell us what's in Michigan. What is in Michigan, RP Anderson? Okay, Pat, bonus question. What is the bonus question? Can you think of something on the fly? This is practice for Thought Tub.
Why do you suck so much with tramp skis?
Oh, so we got the new tramp skis in from Ski Addiction. That was a pretty good transition to something I have no clue what I'm going to talk about. Anyways, we were trying them out tonight, and they sent us.
And I'm still better both nights. I can do rails.
Pat thinks he's better than me at the tramp skis.
I like to push his buttons. It's great.
He might have me on the tramp skis, but that's just because I haven't had time, and he snapped the other pair, so I feel like I need to let him have the tramp ski thing. We got a more advanced pair of tramp skis because Pat snapped the last
Ski
one.
Addiction did it right with these ones.
Dude,
these bounce higher. The other ones, I don't know what was going on, but you could get half your height. Like I got enough height to do doubles.
Well, I think they're this year's Ski Addiction skis are like the new
2020s are crisp.
I don't know if they're 2020s, but they have a dope top sheet, and you can bounce higher on them. They're lighter too. But like you did 2 dubs on them. You did dub back, dub flat, and I did. I almost.
You each to switch dub.
I got it. I did a switch dub.
You got
9
feet down, but you didn't bang it.
Yeah. Anyways, I guess before we did the podcast, we got 3 minutes before we rake up a 30-minute podcast. So we might as well talk about what we
limited to 30 minutes for.
We're not limited to anything.
Are you on a budget?
I'm not on a budget.
What are you talking about? You antsy to get out of here?
No, I'll chill in here all night. These guys love our conversations.
Kicking this because
so this is
why my feet are here.
Eventually, when we get better at the podcast, we'll get the actual boom hang over. So whenever I touch the table, it doesn't give that little sound like that, because that's what that is, shock coming through the mic, which is not good. But the new bike is sick. So recently, me and Pat have started a new endeavor on top of everything else we're doing. Started the ASC, the Action Sports Community. And Pat will tell you a little pitch on it. But Pat's big thing, he's super hyped up because he realized through the ASC and what we're doing there, he can make merch. And it's been a huge boner in his eye for the last 2 days. So
I'm not sure why you talk so vulgar. I'm just interested because I need a new hat. Because my hat blew off when I was boating home from work.
So Pat's all focused on making the coolest hat for himself. Anyways, I went into
if I like it, you should like it too.
I went into a clothing shop and embroidery place today, and we have all the designs and logos and stuff being worked on right now by a good friend. She's designing them specifically for the clothes and stuff, and we're going to set that up for the Facebook group. And we have a website coming soon for the Action Sports Community, blog.
We've got way off topic.
And a newsletter.
We haven't clearly explained whatsoever what the ASC is. Bruce has taken a hard right down a different
I just got so many ideas in my head. It's crazy.
Yes. Basically, the ASC at the moment is a Facebook group. So if you're looking for a place to find good content regarding all forms of action sports, whether it's cliff jumping, skiing, skateboarding, motocross, BMX, if you got another one that you think should be in there, by all means, send it in. But the main goal of this is to basically turn this into a community where everybody can share ideas and content. It'll be Instagram, Facebook. There'll be hopefully a website similar to a New Schooler style thing.
But
we'll have
more
some
advanced.
merch. The more we can do, build it up, then we might hopefully have the opportunity to help out some people to get into what they want to do, which is one of the end goals of this. And to give back and help everybody. We're not just in this on our own. So
one of the end goals of this is ultimately to make like the ASC into like a decent enough company with different branches and stuff. But one of the things me and Pat have always had in our hearts that we've always wanted to do is we want to make not necessarily a woodwork compound, but a compound for training. And we think that would be a super sick way to do it. But the ASC, the blogs, or the website / blog is going to have like everything from we're going to have everything posted on there. Like everything you guys need for action sports would be there. Like questions, answers to all your questions,
gear
updates
reviews.
for live events, gear reviews, athletes of the week, best edits. One of the things I want to do is I want to get athletes from each sport to make like courses or like do like videos on how to help people in their action sport.
Feature athlete, feature athlete of the week. We want to help promote other people. So, if you're standing out and you're putting out some good content, we'll help get you some recognition for that.
One of the goals for this too is to be able to support upcoming athletes that
That's what I was getting at.
Can't afford to get into action sports or like sports like skiing, because I mean, skateboarding, the barrier to entry is not huge, but if you want to become a freestyle skier and you don't come
motocross racer,
snowboard,
anything.
or snowmobile rider, and you don't come from a lot of money, it's really hard to enter into these sports. And
in particular, those motorized, because if you don't have the money for a good machine,
hard.
You're not even in the contention. You can't get there.
And the thing is, like, if we ever get this to a point, obviously we're very, very far away from it now, but if we ever get this to a point where we are monetized enough and we have enough coming in that we can support people like this, we'll find the people that are putting in the hard work, like me or Pat are right now, and we'll support you guys and help you guys out. So that's kind of where we're going with this, but that's later down the line for sure. Right now it's the Facebook group. If you guys want to join the Facebook group, it's Action Sports Community on Facebook.
We'll link it up for this one so you can easily find
link it up
easily.
for sure. And we're gonna do. I think we're at 500 members now.
Goal is 500 for the end of September. I think we're just tickling on the bottom low end, but let's beat that. Let's go for 1,000.
Yeah, we had set 1,000 members for September, but we'll get as close as we can.
We're trying to get other things. We got too many things going.
But anyways, do you have anything else to add before we close off this podcast? We answered all the questions. What do you have anything? You going to motorsports world this weekend?
You can go and ride the bike. It's been a while. Been working like crazy, but
Yeah, the big news for me is that I've finally done all my jobs with my property maintenance company, student odd jobs. I have not taken on any more projects, and I'm work free, so now I can focus fully on the Patreon, YouTube, the podcast, building the action sports community, all that stuff for you guys.
Fingers crossed, Cooper's visual. What is it? Squirrel visuals. Coop Daddy with the drone. Maybe we can get some
sick content and stuff for you guys. But yeah, so now my focus is I've worked my ass off all summer, haven't hung out with any friends, haven't done anything like that. Saved up enough money so I can spend this season training and competing and skiing and making all this content for you guys. So yeah, that's kind of the plan from here on out for the rest of the year. Obviously, a couple days of work here and there just to keep the income coming in, but I'm excited to show you guys what we can do and what I can do this year, because I got some big ass plans. So yeah. Anyways, check out the Patreon and the Facebook group if you guys haven't already, and that's the answer to all the questions. So
cheers,
deuces. Oh, so before we leave, let us know what you think about the podcast, Pat co-hosting the podcast with us, because I kind of like it. So if you guys like it as well, we might have to dive into a couple more live Q&As or have Pat come on with a couple guests and give me some backup whenever I get flustered. So yeah, kind of a new member to the podcast crew. All right, deuces. See you guys in the next episode.
Au revoir.
Do you want to sign off? Do you have a little sign off notification for them?
I don't know. This is my one shot. It's the first one I have to do. No, they're not doing that. I don't got one. I'll come back for the next one next time.
I got it. Panina's Pat, out.